I get really nervous at these things. So I had some whiskey beforehand, but now I'm having coffee, and I feel that negated any progress that I had made previously. So I'm going to read you guys some nonfiction. It's not very long, so I won't keep you for too long. But you will find this in the latest issue of the Southeast Review. I'm working on a new project right now that's a little less weird than the stuff that I normally write. I don't know if people like it, that's really strange to me. But anyway, if this strikes you and you want to talk to me afterwards about any of it, I'm happy to do that. It's just still really new and fresh and weird for me. So you guys understand. No big deal. So this essay is called, Behend, which is the phonetic spelling of the word bend, which comes from the definition of to bind. So anyway, now you know that. There's an asterisk in the title. I can't pronounce it. It's just strange. Anyway, bear with me. So the first time I tried to erase my breasts, it was with a simple bra switch. Keeping Victoria's Secret was no longer a priority. The Playtex bra was beige, and having no cup size was labeled only with an L to indicate size large. I plucked 2 more from the display, squeezing them and giggling at their thinness. "You've lost weight," a friend said, seeing me the next day. While I am not classically beautiful, men have pawed at me, claws out just enough to feel a tear with each grope. I think of this when night begins to spread out, when I walk to my car, or when I shake my key into my apartment's lock. I cannot remember the last time I felt safe in my own body, and I want to carve it up. When I turned 18, I took myself for my first bra fitting. The salesperson wound around me with measuring tape, performing her calculations with a bright smile. "You're at 38 Ds, she exclaimed, her tone triumphant as if I had passed some sort of test. She raced off while I stared at myself in the fitting room mirror, only to return with wire cages to hold my breasts up high, like 2 hills pressing together up to the base of my neck. During my mother's double mastectomy, the surgeon scooped out her cancerous breast the way one would toss away an avocado's pit. The large tumor, along with 4 other unexpected masses, were set down away from her body while she rested flat. Her nipples were cut away before they sewed her closed again. When I was in high school, I'd watch Shakespeare in Love after school every day. I was jealous of Gwyneth Paltrow as Violet D'Alessio, so freely and unquestioningly a man, her chest bound up, rewinding and replaying the scene where she was bare except for the bandage holding her in, reciting her lines and falling in love. My mother's chest muscle and fat were replaced with temporary expanders, and 2 drains hung from either side of her body, leaking blood and whatever other fluid gets expelled from the body after a trauma. Her compression bra adhered to her new form, and she pinned the drains discreetly into her shirt. At home, I tried on a new L bra and admired my shape. The outline of my breasts, smaller now, sloped down and rolled gently into the curves of my midsection, my belly. I imagined myself grasping wind-blowing parts of me into a new dance. "My new breasts are coming soon," she assures me, "as soon as the radiation is over. As soon as I'm healed, they can put the implants in." What I would give to give her my breasts, to painlessly flash into sedation at the surgeon's mercy. A transplant to give away the things she wants so much. If she knew, I wonder, if she knew what I would give to have the surgeons reach into my chest, take it all away, and have both breasts sculpted into something natural that she could keep, to have my chest raised. To be both man and woman, to line lips red and wipe it away with the force of a kiss, to have the power to lift, to feel a fullness between the legs, to feel a gap between the legs, to be both round and flat, to be a mountain, to be a landslide, to be the broad expanse of flat plains, to be a dust storm, to be neither man nor woman. "It hurt me that you didn't call or text when I needed you," she cried. "I just had this major surgery and I need you, I need you." I stood tall in the kitchen and planted my feet. "Jack," I yelled to my partner of almost a decade. "My friends are calling you Jack now, and it's beautiful." Children terrify me. I tense up when I watch their limbs flail without warning. It frightens me that they can't communicate beyond tears. The symbols of mother and child don't reach into me, don't trigger an instinct to fight for my young like a bear would. Even if my body were a woman's body, not full of anomalous parts, a child is not mine to make. I'm not careful enough, and there's not enough of me to satisfy anyone's needs. I can't help being unavailable, I replied to my mother. There's a lot going on. My partner packed the dishes, clothes, and other things into flat rate boxes from the post office. He labeled them and taped them shut while I scrambled to fill spaces that he emptied. Towers of boxes sprawled around me while I crumpled on the living room carpet. A few days later, he backed out of our parking space, pulled around the lot, and drove his car and his boxes away. I cried, and I am still crying, loud and in bursts. Cancer took my grandmother's lungs. As she died, my mother flew from Florida to New York to be with her. She was comfortable, I think, though I wasn't there. She had tried to call so often, but I never answered the phone for her, opting instead to watch the ceiling and the curtains closed. My mother cried the news to me. I kept busy. I tell my psychiatrist I'm Jack while she leans back in her chair, crossing and uncrossing her legs at the ankles. Her high-heeled shoes are so pink. Of course you're upset, she tells me. You're grieving for so much. You're grieving for the parts of you that have died and for the spaces you no longer inhabit. You're in mourning. The second time I try to erase my breast, it is with an underworks chest binder. I pull it carefully over my head, wriggling into it and peeling it down as if it were a second skin. I flatten myself evenly underneath. Every breath is a struggle. His clothes are not in the closet. His side of the bed is cold. His hair is not filling the sink. His toolbox isn't spreading out in the hall closet. His warmth is not radiating. His breathing is not splitting the heavy silence in half. I am kept awake by the fear that I will die alone with no partner to ease the transition, no child to fly to my side. I roll to the middle of the bed and back again and count each breath. My chest looks muscular under the checkered shirt I button all the way up. I wear a peach bow tie and blue suspenders. I flex into the mirror and the binding remains tight. There is less of me and somehow more.